the Football Exponential podcast. I'm Chika and I'm joined by Frank.
Hi guys, hi Chika. Welcome back
Yes.
to another episode of the Beautiful Show.
Yeah, if you're watching us, please smash the like button, like, subscribe, and then drop your comments or whatever. If you want us to cover any particular player, just let us know. And Frank, quick one. Mohammed Kudus has signed for Spurs. I even saw him during their preseason game, and then the players we are making fun of. Is it Van? I'm confusing Van Vliet.
Van der
Van
Ven.
Vliet is the basketball player. Van der Ven, right?
Yeah, Van der
Van
Ven.
der Ven. They were making mockery of Van der Ven, telling him his father was around. Like they had a fight when he picked Van der Ven or something.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh
yeah. I
yeah,
saw
oh
the
yeah,
picture.
yeah,
Van
yeah,
der
yeah,
Ven
yeah,
was
yeah.
smiling. He was sitting down.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm sure they've made up
yeah,
now.
the Indian ones have made up. They have to. 55 million pounds. A 24-year-old. Last season he was. I won't lie. He was bang
You what?
below average. Like 5 goals, three. He
Yeah,
checked out
yeah,
before the season
yeah,
ended. I don't know what
yeah.
it was.
I think I think after that red card situation, I think that was the season that he just like okay, no, okay, I have to because I think even collectively as a team, as a club, West Ham had a very I think they were quite lucky that
They didn't go down.
the other guys, the newly promoted teams were as bad as they were, because I think West Ham could have been one of those teams drawn into that situation in a more competitive relegation battle.
Yeah, Potter couldn't figure him out. Um, the use of the wing back football style of football hurt him because maybe he had less to do. He has played left wing
Um,
attacker, right wing attacker most of the time, 40%, and then he can also play central attacking midfielder, and then he can play as a striker. He's versatile. The most important thing about him are these two things. He's versatile, he's a dribbler, and his ball carrying ability. To me, ball carrying ability is what makes him exceptional. He loves running at players. Since he came to the Premier League, since joining from Ajax, 2 years ago, he has attempted 448 takeoffs with a success rate of 216. He has been successful with 216 takeoffs out of 444. 444. That is the most in the Premier League for both attempts and successful attempts in the Premier League. Then his success rate for dribbles is 48.2%. That is exceptional for 3.18 dribbles per 90. That is very high. If you take 3.18, now he's able to drive at opponents in tight and large spaces. He can play in tight space, whatever he is, and he has low center of gravity. He is strong, physically strong, low center of gravity. In his duels is 42% success rate. Then he can shoot or pass with his weaker foot. That is also important. Then his shot accuracy that time is bad. Is 29%. I think he should be shooting better.
and yeah, and I think also I'll put that in context because also a lot of West Ham attackers were really down in terms of their performances last season. So that's yeah, it's very he had a very wet season. But also, I feel he has a very good technique with shooting. He shoots really well off both feet, and I think he also has one of the best celebrations in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
So that also
He goes
that
and
also
sits
that was,
down there, right?
he gets a stool from one of the stewards or ball boys at the stadium. They put I think it's been there for him. It's placed for him behind the goals. He picks one up, sits behind it. It always looks very good. And even I liked his announcement video that Tottenham put
Yeah,
on
with the
social media.
Ghana
It
song
was very
and the
nice.
Black Stars. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. That was
I
very nice
love
to
the
see.
way he
But
carries himself. I just love. He doesn't talk much. I don't think I've heard so much interview about him, but the way he walks, he has this aura about him. I don't think his English sounds is as fluent as. I don't even think I've seen him.
no, but I don't know because I think it's obviously Ghana. I think
But
his
you
English should be
understand
fine.
how he carries
But
himself. I
yeah,
like the way he
honestly,
carries
I
himself.
know. It's not. It's like I think.
I'm
Yeah, I
proud
think
to call
it's
him an
not.
African brother. So I just like the way he walks, the way
Yeah, it's
he,
good. It's good. It's
I
good.
was
Yeah, it's good.
disappointed with the red card. I think he was just frustrated with that red card on
That
that
was fun.
occasion.
That was. I think that was more. that had to do with the team's
Yeah,
performance
with
on
the
that
team's
day,
performance.
the club performance and how they've been playing. That was just because again, I don't really I won't kill a player if he makes if he makes those kind of mistakes. But if he makes those kind of mistakes continuously, that's a different issue. Well, I think, but with this deal, I really like this deal. I like it for I like it for Tottenham. I'd have loved it for Chelsea because I think I think he's a player that could do a bit of damage in that Chelsea team. But with Tottenham, this is I think this is a statement of intent. For a lot of Tottenham fans, those in the media, those in the press, that always, in my opinion, come at that come at Danny Levy, and this is not Danny Levy's defense league. But whenever you look at Tottenham's finances, the amount they spend on players, Tottenham do spend money. One of the biggest misconceptions that has been, oh, Levy doesn't spend money. Maybe the wage bill might not be as big as the top clubs in England, which is fair. Again, you have to keep that in control. But Tottenham do spend big on transfer fees. This is another example. I think another example would be another player we talk about soon enough. Morgan Gibbs-White from Nottingham Forest. They spend big on players, and I think it's important to back this new manager has gone in Thomas Frank, but I don't know how what's his name, and Postecoglou will be feeling because
Yeah.
last season after Tottenham finished fifth, just unfortunately missed out on Champions League football because the English league did not have that the extra spots last 2 seasons ago. They missed out on Champions League football and they didn't quite strengthen the team in the attacking areas. What they did with Solanke, another big transfer fee. But after Solanke, it was Odebe who didn't really
I'm
partake.
asking
And I think
what now happened to
uh,
Johnson and Odobe? Because Odobe was 30 something
so
million transfer. It wasn't cheap.
yeah, yeah, and I think with Odebe, I think the good thing about this signing, Morgan, Rogers, sorry, Gibbs White and Kudus, is you get players that are already Premier League proven. They've been consistent in the Premier League. They've shown what they can do in the Premier League, and that gives the guys like Odebe a bit of time to develop. Take because again, I think it's because also I saw him in the for the French national team alongside his new teammates Matthias Tel at the Euro under 21. He looks very good. If he's healthy, he's very good. So, but I think he's one of those guys you just need a bit of time to get him up to speed with Premier League football because it takes some players hit it from the first minute. Some players it
I
takes
think he
them a
was
year or
signed
two to
injured, I think
get.
so. Or he injured in
Yeah,
his first game or something, but he was injured till like around
yeah, and
October
even
or something like that.
and yeah, I think when he signed the first month of his signing, I think he got like I think it was like a 4 to 6 months injury,
Yeah.
and obviously that stops the development. But even while at Burnley, he was also injury prone, and
But he
he
scored
had
a
he
very
fought
good
he
goal.
had.
There's a good goal he scored at Burnley. I forgot who he played against. I was impressed with that game. That's when I noticed him.
What I think if I remember, I think he scored against Chelsea
I
that
think it's
season. If
Chelsea.
I
I
remember,
remember his goal. It was
yeah,
I was like, damn, this
yeah,
is good.
yes. He has that class, but I also but with Tottenham I expect him to have a few outgoings in that attacking department. I won't be surprised if their captain Son is one of those guys that
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
you look like okay, no, thank you. You've been a fantastic servant to the club. You've represented the club well on and off the pitch, but we're moving in a different direction. You move on from him. Richarlison's another one that's I suspect they'll probably be looking to offload. And because we get a player that has flexibility across multiple positions in the team. And with Thomas Frank, I think it's always you find different ways to play based on the games or based on the position. So it really puts them in a strong position. And, and I think also what it brings to Tottenham, it brings a lot of physicality to that Tottenham team. I think Tottenham that's where I think that's I know they had a lot of injuries, but I also think they really struggled when they came up against like you see the games against Chelsea, the games against Liverpool, when they were matched physically, they really struggled to rise to the occasion. So I think it improves that physical floor. Yeah, and yeah, I think overall is a good
It's a
sign.
good signing. It's a good signing. Then where does Kukulevsky play?
So yeah, so you know what? Just I think and a lot of people I've seen a lot of different guys come up with different ideas. I think going forward, I think we talk about they have Madison Kulusevski and Kudus right now, predominantly they all play around the same position, that central area. Madison is is an habitual. game misser. He goes missing in some games, either in terms of his performances or his injuries. You then have Kulusevski, Kudus. You have two guys that can play. One can play off the right, one can play through the middle. Or Kudus plays. One of them plays on the wing. I don't like. I don't quite like Kulusevski on the wing. I don't think he's
Man,
as.
he is a
He's not, is
very he is an exceptional player in the terms that I didn't believe it until I saw it.
yeah.
He's
No,
a wide
I
player,
think
but his ability to
he's a
give
white.
short passes in the center of the field and he gives you he moves. He gives you he moves is exceptional. He's not a wide player that
Thomas.
crosses the ball. No, he gives short
He's not,
passes, but he's in the middle of
and
the
he's not.
field and it's so impressive.
And I feel like he doesn't have that explosiveness to his game where you can see him, or where he goes past players or he creates that separation from defenders. So I think it's better more infield, like sort of that down that role that Thomas Frank had at Brentford. Then you put Kudus, he's quite quick, he's rapid, pace, he's strong, he knows how to dribble. If he's lost in on the wing, you have a backup Johnson or the bed. But I think but also I think we also forget another person. What's his name? The guy that's Gibbs White. That you also have Gibbs White
Yeah.
who plays in that same position as well.
So
But I think with Gibbs White,
so
I think Gibbs White
let's go
also
to
can.
Gibbs White. Yesterday, I think Gibbs White is how much are they talking about? 60 million release clause, which is yet to
Yeah,
be resolved, but I think it's gonna be resolved. All this
no,
it's all noise.
that's all just dramatics.
But
I expect it to be.
I
I
went
expect it
into his
to be done.
numbers
But
statistically. I wasn't really impressed. He's a high test guy. Certain things impressed me. Now, this is what I wasn't impressed. Hold on. I felt he was a very physical player, but he won only 45% of his duels. That's all okay. That's still good. Plays a lot of long passes. I didn't know he plays a lot of long passes. I have to check the stats. He plays a lot of long passes, 1.63 long passes per game, but that affected his total accuracy, passing accuracy. It brought it down to 80%. It's still it's average. It's not really good. Then impressive crossing accuracy. I didn't know he was good with his crossing. 28%. So whenever it's up to 20%, is good. Then, but this is what shocked me. He rarely touches the ball in the opposition box. He does 3.09 touches in the opposition box per 90. Then where does he play? If he does it that means he comes deep to receive the ball.
no, that's I think that's a byproduct of how Nottingham Forest play and
Failure.
how they have
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
how they
yeah,
cover
yeah.
their games.
Transition.
So
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you're not expecting to be on the edge of the box, making passes, connecting with
Average
his
passes
teammates.
59, 55 passes per game. Very, very poor.
But
That means Forest doesn't have the ball. They don't really have the ball. They hit
no,
you on the
they
counter and they give it
don't.
back to you.
Yeah, I don't. I won't call them a ball playing team per se. So, but I think with Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White, you bring a lot of physicality to this
Ah.
Tottenham team. You bring a lot of ability at carrying the ball, short and large distances. I believe he can create in good measure in a team that plays attacking football. But the only issue I have with it is how do you get, because again, like Kulusevski,
That's,
Madison,
yeah, 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 yeah.
they're all sort of in the same, like you could they're all sort of in the same zone. So do you play him as a number eight or a number six? If you're playing, I think you can play him as a number eight. I think you
What
can
I'm
make it work in that
thinking is
position.
that what I'm thinking is when he plays the 4-3-3, right? If he plays a 4-3-3-3, if he plays a 4-3-3, he starts Kudus on the right, he starts Matthias Tell on the left, he starts Solanke in the center in attack, right? When he wants to make a
Yeah.
substitution, the first substitution, attacking substitution, might be Johnson, Brennan Johnson to replace Kudus, for example, on the right. When he
Yeah.
wants to make a left, he can call on Odube or whatever. That's sorted. There's so many games. He's going to play in the Champions League. So at least
Yeah,
Odobe and Johnson
I
can
think
get 10 starts in the Premier League because if you have a game this week, you understand. If they have a game on Tuesday, you can
so.
start.
Yeah.
So that's
So
then he come in midfield, three-man midfield. I think he can play Gibbs White as the one behind the striker that can join attack. So now, what I'm suspecting is going to happen is Kukulevsky is likely not to be starting next season. Maybe if he's taking off Gibbs-White, he's putting Kukulevsky. That's what I'm thinking. He has 5 substitutions. And if there's any coach that maximizes the substitution is Thomas Frank.
It's Thomas
I don't
Frank.
even
Yeah,
know who is starting. He
yeah.
has Thomas Schultz, he has Janet, he had Damsgaard, he had there were 2 Germans or 2 Scottish people. One was Janelt, one was Damsgaard, one was
Like,
Norgard. I don't know how he
and
mixes all of them. He
Yamaluk.
knows. So I think
No,
he's going to
like
do the same
so.
thing.
So like I also think he also tailors his lineups to the opposition they come up against. But that's for a Brentford team that are always like you know what Brentford are, but with Tottenham, there's an expectation to play the Tottenham way. So it's I don't know. Well, the way I see it, I see it as a way to get a lot of physicality into that team. A lot of guys that are strong on and off the ball, a lot of runners into that team. And that's you can see like if you put it compared to the guys like Son, who's lost a bit of pace, Kulusevski, who's not quite the strongest or fastest player, and Madison, who's Madison is a very good player, but I don't
Um,
think he's quite durable physically. So it depends on who's been let go. But again, I think it makes this Tottenham team strong. I think the only issue I have with it, or the second issue I have with it is I still feel Tottenham are still light in that dynamic athletic ball winner like the Caicedo in that team, or even or guy like Gravenberch who's more passing ball carrying that number 6 player. I think that's where on paper that lineup looks to be weakest. I think I I I don't well obviously I don't want Tottenham to ever do well, but
yeah,
I expect them to make a move in that point because if they can get like the guys like a Baleba Bay, for example. If you
um,
can get that kind of guy, physical ball winner, can also pass the ball through the lines. I think it takes this team to another level.
okay. Let's go quickly to the last one. Everton have signed Tieno Barry. Was it 28 million? For if it's pounds, I think it's pounds, but I know it's 28 million pounds for Barry.
Yeah.
In the French under 21. Funny enough, this is his first time playing for the whatever French under whatever. He didn't play for the
On that,
17, 18.
another, I think another player I watched at the under 20. I think this year's edition of the under 21 tournament produced a lot of produced and showcased a lot of talents this year. But I think he wasn't starting for the team. The French under 21 team.
Yeah,
But every time he came off the bench, he had an
yeah,
impact.
I
He,
remember.
he
Yeah,
had an impact straight away. So it's a very and every time times I watched him this past season at Villarreal, he was impressive. He looked like there's some guys you watch just like like that's a Premier League striker right there. And like when I watch him, like same way I watch Beto at Udinese, I'm like okay, that's a Premier League player. Where where could they go? The West Hams, the Evertons, those kind of teams that are
yeah.
very physical. They don't play a lot of football, but they're very, very physical. They rely on set pieces. And I think Barry brings a lot in that capacity. I think it's the fee. I think the fee. I think the fee is a steal. That's a steal at that price, under 30 million
Yeah,
pounds.
yeah, 11
That's
goals in Villarreal, most by a player under 21 in La Liga. 3 years ago, he
hmm?
was playing the 5th year of French football. I think it was for Sojo, whatever. For this,
it,
I forgot, but I know he's
it
a
was
Sojo boy.
yeah it was in I think he was in Switzerland because I think
No,
he
he,
was in
he went. He
Switzerland for a
moved from
minute.
Sojo to Belgium to Bavarian, from Bavarian to FC Basel, from FC Basel.
Yeah,
Then he went to Villarreal. For the
yeah.
last 4 years, he's been moving. He spends only 1 year in every club for the past 4 years. I don't know. I think he has to settle down. This should be. He has to
No,
play.
no, but no, I know, but I can look at that in a positive light. Like that's how good his performances have been. That's
He keeps
on a
moving,
bigger team, another team has called for
and
his
then he doesn't
services.
waste time. He
Uh,
starts scoring. Yeah.
yeah, and but I think with Villarreal, the times I watched him, I think he's a bit like Jackson in a way, where
Mm.
yeah, he's not that
He
finish
misses
is not
lots
the
of
sharpest.
chances. He does.
Like
He was apologizing to Alex Bernard the other day when he Yeah, when he missed one of his chances, I promise I'll put it
So
in the back of the
it's
net.
so, but I think what's like again, you like an Everton team managed by by David Moyes. You know what you're going to expect. They're going to be strong. They're going to run hard. They're going to play. They're going to physically impose themselves. They'll be strong on set pieces. And I think it brings like because I think that they already have. I think they have two of the they have the one of the tallest centre back pair in the Premier League. You bring this guy who's I think he's six. I think he's over 6'4", if I'm correct.
Yes, he's
And he
over
has
6 foot.
and
Only
yeah.
if you meet David Moyes and you want to convince him to sign him, I have someone for you, Moyes. Okay, tell me about him. The first thing you just tell Moyes is only three La Liga players have more headed shots than him.
Just
That is
no, no, no.
David Moyes.
I think you just show him like you give. Obviously, you bring the stat sheet. You bring out like okay, where it's good at. You look at it, but the one you highlight is boom, area those one,
Yeah, yeah,
boom.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's where it really shines because that's what Everton are about. They don't like Pickford always. Pickford doesn't play around passing out the back. He's always going long. And when you've got that target man to go with, I think also is a bit like if you put the best of Calvert-Lewin and the best of Beto together
Yeah,
you get a Barry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think you get like the strong movement in the box. That's Calvin Lewin. But also the physicality outside the box, the running, the hold up play.
Yeah, they're
That's
aggressive.
better if you put those together. So it's a very. I think for that price, it's because I think for Everton they had to get because they had to get young quickly. They had to bring down the age of that team. Guys like they had to let go at the let go of Calvin Lewin, and because he
But
had
they've
this
done a
injury
good
issues
job,
and
though. They've done a good job.
No, yeah, I think they could do it more business. But I think firstly, keeping or tying down Jared Braithwaite to new contracts is that's amazing news for them. Getting a striker that fits into the manager's philosophy or his overall ideology of football. That's amazing. I think they need a bit of pace. In, sorry, I think they need a bit of pace on legs in midfield. But if you had guys, if you had
They
what's his
have
name,
Ghana, who
one
has
of the
done
players
very
that,
well for them. From I think he's the former
yeah, but
Manchester United.
Gonna get is oh yeah, yeah,
They're
that's
talking
former
about
Manchester United.
Idris,
Yeah, yeah,
Idris
yeah,
Gueye.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm talking of the
They're
white
talking about James.
Ghana, yeah,
Yeah,
James
yeah, yeah,
Ghana.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's really done bad
That.
for them.
No, it's been. I think it's been good. It's been like it's what you expect. Like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
guy
yeah,
like he
yeah.
does he does what he says
Irregular
on the
hasn't
tin. Like
really
you see.
worked out for them. I don't know why.
Mm,
Don't know why.
I was reading. No, I was reading somewhere. It's, David Moyes or they were saying he's likely going to go on loan somewhere where he can get more games, build his rhythm to senior football. Because again, I think he came out. He's not played a lot of senior minutes in the
Yeah, when
Premier
they
League or
started,
any in the
yeah,
top league. So it's so I think he needs that developmental. He's still in that developmental stage, and they also have one of I think one of the players I enjoyed watching last season. He died.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
the
Senegalese
man
guy.
died.
Yeah,
That's I think that's a very good player right there. If they can sort out what they have on the right wing, and you bring in James Dwight McNeil, who's played more on the wing, but I think is better centrally now. Bring him in the middle. You get a guy that's rapid on the right wing. Everton, they already have a good. I think they have good foundations, but that's to just strengthen the squad. But again, like you know what to expect from Everton. They're going to finish somewhere between 10th to 12th. They might push for a conference league place position. They will trouble a lot of teams. Oh no. I forgot. They've moved stadiums.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
gone to
yeah,
the
yeah.
new stadium now. So like
But
thank God
sometimes
because
I
I
feel if you move stadium that first season, it might be you might get have to get used to the
no,
stadium.
but and in terms of but even with the style of play they play, the stadium helps them play that way because it's not. It's a bit like hybrid with Arsenal when Arsenal was hybrid. Henry could
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
run from just run through them because it was quite a compact stadium. But when they moved over to the Emirates, it took them a bit of time to even adjust tactically on the pitch because
Mm.
it's a bigger pitch, it's a wider stadium. I don't know if they will have that trouble at with Everton. We'll see how it goes. But I think, but again, I think David Moyes he's going to keep them. I don't expect them to get into any relegation talk this year. I expect them
Um,
to be somewhere between 10th to 15th. even if they could push higher than that.
Okay, Frank, that should be all for us today.
But
Yeah,
just no, just before we go, I was noticing because some of the players we talked about this week, Elanga, Morgan Gibbs-White, Kudus,
yeah.
Cunha has left. Mbeumo is probably going to likely to leave, and I feel one of the whistles or those kind of players will leave the club. Do you think I think the top six or the top seven in the Premier League they're feasting on the guys beneath them now? Because just thinking about like I don't like just off the rip, Brentford won't be as strong as they were last season unless they get somebody in that comes and start that can replace
They are
20
feasting.
goals.
They
Because
are feasting. I thought the Premier League has really solved some of this problem, and I was excited. But to see it repeat, because this is why one of the reasons why it just growing up, right? I started getting used to a certain striker. He was having a pump in that period. Luis Saha, if I remember, around January, he was pumping in goals. January transfer came. Sir Alex Ferguson just came and took him from Fulham. I'll
And
never forget.
even I think another one is another example is Andy Carroll at Newcastle where he was having a fantastic season.
Yeah,
The
Liverpool.
German will come,
Yes.
Torres goes to Chelsea, then he goes to Liverpool. Like I think it's always happened, but I think this time around, what
But
made
the
this
PSR has
life
helped establish it that the smaller clubs now are able to pay certain salary. Those big teams will not be able to. Let me give you an example like Anthony Robinson in Fulham, for example. You have to really increase his salary to be able to attract him. But you look at it, but
yeah,
the reason why it's hot, but it's not really hurting me, is the money these guys are getting from these players is worth it.
it's quite big.
If
And
Wizard
and
goes
I'll
for
add
50
that
million, it's massive. Mbeumo goes for 60 million, it's massive. You can
and
get another player
the
for
guy
45, but if the player needs time again, another 2 years, 3 years to get to that level again, and that becomes a problem.
so so again then you see how I don't know we don't know how to impact this construction is getting crazy. I don't know who does construction on the weekend. But but even like see Bournemouth for example now Bournemouth are going to lose or they've lost Kepa's left. They've lost their left back. They're losing us. They probably lose. There's two starting centre backs from last season. Of course they can. Of course they most of the Brightons, Brentfords, and Bournemouth they know how to recruit. They know how to spend money well. They know how to find those players between that 10 to 15, 20 million pound range, young. They bring them to Premier League and in the next 2 or 3 years they move for 50 to 60. But I think that's going to because I think last season was very interesting because it was so tight.
That's why
The difference between
last season
it
was
was
one of the
it
worst.
was,
It was
it
one
was
of the
so
most exciting for me. It was very exciting
it's
because every week I saw like 3 games I can watch, and the standard is not all that. You had like 10, 8 teams, close to 9 teams, all competing for the European
yeah,
place.
and and I think unfortunately the promoted teams did not bring the competition that was needed. But even at that, teams like Ipswich, for example, if Ipswich got a win and a draw against Chelsea,
Yeah,
Ipswich got a win away at Tottenham.
yeah, yeah.
Leicester City got a draw in the last weeks of the season away at Nottingham Forest. So you see, it's still like 'cause again, people always have like where's the best, which is the best. But I think, in my opinion, without a shadow of doubt, across the league, not just the top two or the top three or top four, from the number one to number 20, I think the Premier League is the most competitive. Every team, I think most teams, they have good spending power. You're seeing with Sunderland and newly promoted, they spent close to, or they spent close to 80 million already. That's like if you look at that's more than teams in La Liga, like at least three, four, five teams combined in La Liga. They have good spending power. But also, even the coaching improved a long way. So it's like because again, like it's so because you see the fixture when you get the fixture list, you look at it.
Yeah,
Oh, Brentford away is the top game.
yeah.
Bournemouth away is the top game. Forest away is the top game. So it's very. I think next season it's interesting. It will be interesting to see how a lot of these teams cope without the players they've lost.
But
But I'll say right now,
yeah,
I'll say right. I think one team I'm worried about already is West Ham.
I'm
I
worried
think
also because
because
where I'm
because
so worried about them is they picked up lots of players. Some of them didn't work out. I don't know why they're finding it
a
difficult
lot
selling them.
a lot a lot of them will work out. I think
So
because
why are
I
they
think
finding it
last
difficult
this
selling them? That tells me that maybe they are not even able to sell them. Because you look at
no,
Somerville,
but
players I felt were good enough.
no,
You
but
can
even
put
no,
it.
no, no, but even but again, I think that's the price you pay for having a bad season. Because even like Kudus had an 80 million pound release clause. They sold him for a lot less than his release
Let's
clause. They
even
sold him
assume
for
they make
50,
50 from Kudus.
55.
If they buy two players 30-30 each, it doesn't solve much. Then where can you even get a 30 million pound player?
But they
Eating
can't and no, but if
that
you
makes
see
a
they
difference
can get a lot of
immediately.
play. I think you can get some players around from the like the relegated teams and even in the championship, for example. But even the players you already have on your wage book on your roster already, guys like Fulkrug, for example. You need to get Fulkrug on the pitch more times this season because he had a lot of injuries last season. Some of it is another one. Some of it needs you need him on the pitch. They signed this Brazilian kid for big money, about 20 million pounds. I can't remember his name, Luis, but he hasn't really played much. He's been injured a lot. So they have a lot of players that but just been injured a lot. But I think the issue that team has is that midfield. I think they have one of the worst midfields in the Premier League.
No, they're not
There's
good.
a lot of they have some players have a bit of taking there, but I think it's one of this. They don't have legs in that
And
midfield. So check
Suchek
is
is getting old. Is
it's getting a boy, but he's still useful. James Ward-Prowse is not. Is is a good like obviously is set pieces and all that, but I don't think he has that impact in a good Premier League
and
team.
Paqueta, I think is
I have
gonna go
the
get served.
who knows like 'cause again I think his situation with the betting and the
Yeah,
betting scandals I think it stopped him from being moved on, and even from West Ham you might not want to sell him, but you're stuck with him because you know this player probably wants to leave.
yeah,
But you can't really sell him because nobody wants to buy him. So it's a very funny situation, and I think it comes down to the recruitment they've done in the last 3 years that has put them in this situation. So then I think they need to clean it up, and there's going to be massive pressure on Graham Potter from the start next year
yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
went in. They had I think they showed a bit of improvements on the back, but I think overall it was still more of the same from Lopetegui. So it's going to be because I think my biggest issue with Graham Potter is if you look at him across even Chelsea, Brighton. I don't think he's a manager that wins enough Premier League games. He doesn't. I think his win rate in Premier League is not good enough. Even if you adjust for Chelsea, where he started off well, but when he got bad, he got bad. And West Ham is still the same. So I think if not, it could be a sticky one for them because they need to improve quick.
They lost two players. I felt they had lost for now. They lost Brahima or whatever. There's some players they had. I don't know why at that moment they had to.
But they still
Yeah,
have so like I think they have they have good pieces. That centre back they have? I forgot his name. They have a good centre back, not the French one,
Human,
the other
human,
one.
human,
Yeah,
human. Yeah.
Cuman is good. You have
Yeah,
Thiago
one
and Bowen
Bitaka
always
also is a good signing for them. But the
one
French guy, I
Bissaka.
think, is too slow. I don't.
But yeah, it's well, it's not. And again, I don't know I don't know what exactly is it because it's always when you perform as badly as they performed last season, it affects everybody. And but I think if you watch them last season, they looked like a team that was not fit enough to play games. They looked low. That defending was bad. It just and with Potter, Potter likes to keep the ball. I think sometimes they keep the ball
Yeah.
way more than they should. They need to find a way to go direct as quick when they can. But again, I think in Premier League, a lot of Premier League teams have money, so they have. I can imagine them spending somewhere close to 100 million, and that can get you. There are a lot of players like a guy like even Chukwemeka can make an impact in that team.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just even just Hall, those kind of guys you can get like even I think they should be looking at guys around the because you ask like can you get a good player for 30 million? I think you can find guys around the edges of Chelsea, Man City, even Liverpool like Harvey Elliott, James McAtee at Man
I
City.
heard
You can get
somebody
those
was
guys.
a team was eyeing Manchester City, McCarthy. I forgot. Was it Newcastle? I forgot it. Is he that good? I'm not
No,
watching.
he has no. It's no. I think the player that needs again. Watched him at the Euros. I think he was the captain of the England under 21. He was, I think,
Was
him
he the captain of
alongside
that
Harvey
team?
Elliott. Yeah, he was the captain of that team. McCarthy, Harvey Elliott, Anderson were the three standard players for England. So I think I expect him to. I hope he gets a move for Man City and Harvey Elliott as well. I hope some of them get moved where they can play more games because they could be good opportunities for Everton, West Ham. You get those guys creativity. They can create goals, score goals, and bring good walkable legs into that midfield.
Okay, that should be all for us today. Thanks. If you
Yeah.
drop your comments, like, and then subscribe. Frank, thanks a lot. Have a
Um,
good one.
uh,
Uh,
have a good one. Bye.